today. So I'd like to invite you to start, as we start our class today, you may like to start in a reclined position, lying with your back on the floor. If you're more comfortable starting today in a seated position, feel free to stay that way. So take some time if you'd like to start reclined, to feel how it feels to have your legs extended. Perhaps you might like to have your knees bent, and if your knees knock-kneed, touching with your feet spread wide apart. But we'll just land here, whether you're reclined or sitting, letting your eyes close and feeling your breath as it's landing in your body right now. No need to change it in any way, just notice. And then you may want to put a hand on your low belly and invite the breath into that low belly area. Really imagining the breath not just filling your belly in an upwards motion, but also filling the sides of your body and the back of your body. There's more bone structure in the back side of our body, so it's a little more difficult to feel the expansion there. But it is important and powerful to invite the breath into the back body. And then maybe your hand moves up towards your ribs area, your mid-torso. And feel the breath here. This is the area of your diaphragm, beneath your lungs. On an inhale, the diaphragm lowers as the lungs expand and fill with air. And on an exhale, the diaphragm helps to push the air out of the lungs as it moves upward in the chest cavity. Imagine the breath filling the side ribs. You can even imagine sliding your hand behind your back to feel the expansion of the back of your ribs towards the floor. And then you may move your hand towards the collarbone, just in a comfortable position, the upper chest. Feeling your breath expand in this part of the body, the front, sides, under the armpits, the back of the collarbone, shoulder blade area. Our lungs extend right up towards the collarbone and the back part of our bodies. Imagine air filling now all three parts: low belly, mid torso, and upper torso. In your own rhythm. No need to rush or force. Each of our breath pattern is different cadence, different depth. So I invite you to find your version of this 3-part breath throughout our practice today. Don't worry if it's different than the pace that I'm leading. It's more important to feel your own connection with your breath. I found these words from Mary Oliver so poignant after our recent rain here in Maine. This poem is called Lingering in Happiness. After rain, after many days without rain, it stays cool, private, and cleansed under the trees. And the dampness there, married now to gravity, falls branch to branch, leaf to leaf, down to the ground, where it will disappear, but not, of course, vanish, except to our eyes. The roots of the oaks will have their share, and the white threads of the grasses, and the cushion of moss. A few drops, round as pearls, will enter the mole's tunnel. And soon, so many small stones, buried for 1,000 years, will feel themselves being touched. And soon, so many small stones, buried for 1,000 years, will feel themselves being touched. I like to imagine that our breath and our prana, our flow of energy, can access some of those small stones deep within our body that feel like they haven't been touched in ages. Parts of our physical body or connective tissues that might feel stuck or locked up, that breath and prana can help ease and invite back into mobility. And perhaps there are places of emotional stuckness or drought that with this practice of mindful movement and breath and prana, we bring some droplets of rain, water, fresh energy to remind us of our wholeness, to remind us of our connection to this great earth. So if you are seated now, I invite you to come to your mat, lying on your mat. And we'll start our movement practice today by extending the legs long, extending arms overhead, taking a big stretch here. Stretching first on the left side body, left fingertips reach, left toes point towards the sky, and then the same on the right side. Inviting some first movement and breath into the body, and then let that all go. Just sink in. Let the floor hold you. And again, reach long, both sides of the body, stretch, fingers alive, toes alive, really reach and then release. On an inhale, take a big inhale, and on an exhale, let's lift the left knee to hands. Just a gentle invitation into the left knee and hip here. Hands might clasp behind the knee if you have sensitivity in your knee. Invite a little circling movement into that left hip joint. Remembering those small stones being touched by droplets of rain. Inhale, extending arms overhead. Exhale, right knee lifts, hands clasped behind or on top of the shin. And again, inviting movement and breath, attention to this right hip. What would feel just right now in this hip? Do that a few more times on each side. Inhale brings us to extend. Exhale, left knee comes towards the chest. You might even extend that left foot towards the ceiling now and circle out that left ankle. Just taking some gentle movements here, your own organic movements. Maybe with the left leg extended, some circles, like you had a paintbrush in your toes and you could paint circles in one direction on the ceiling or the sky, and then shift your circles, lubricating our hips. Inhale brings us to extend. Exhale, right knee to the chest. Come with our hands behind the knee this time. Some circles, and then extending and bending that right knee. Taking your time. This is be a difficult movement. You might not get too far with your straightening that right leg. That's fine. Circling out the ankle of the right foot. Oh, I have a standing desk at work and I love it, and yet I spend a lot of time standing, so this feels really good in my ankles. And then imagining you have a paintbrush in those right toes, painting circles, beautiful watercolor on the sky, first in one direction and then the next. Opposite direction. And inhale brings that right foot to the floor. Exhale, hands come to the sides, and just notice here. Let out a big sigh. How does it feel just to take that little bit of time to care for yourself? Allowing some of that pranic energy to permeate those big muscles in the hip area. Imagining your prana flowing down your legs to your toes and up your torso, out your arms, through your shoulders, up to your neck. Little droplets of rejuvenating, cleansing energy moving throughout your body, through your jawline, those muscles that we hold so tightly in our jaw, through our temple area, around the skull. Imagining a soft smile landing across the muscles of the eyes. Then again, through your jaw area, an internal smile, letting go. Inhale, arms overhead here. Exhale, both knees come to the chest. Giving yourself a little hug here, maybe rocking side to side. Maybe your chin lifts for a real hug here, coming close into your knees. And then exhale, let's bring both feet to the floor. We'll inhale, arms overhead, and exhale, we'll bring the right knee into the chest and left leg extends. And we can do this as a little bit of a core warm-up exercise here. If you have sensitivity in your low back, you can modify this in a variety of ways. Left foot can stay on the ground. Left foot can be higher. Head can be on the ground, or if you have the movement in your low back, you may choose to lift your neck off the ground. And we're just going to alternate here. Right leg extends, left leg comes to the chest. So exhaling as the left leg extends, inhaling between sides. And find your own pace here. Hands are just going lightly. Don't worry about what your hands are doing. We're just extending the legs here. If you have the mobility in your low back, your legs can go a little lower to the ground. But we're really trying to focus our energy, and our core is very stable here. And we'll take a break. Inhale, head releases. Exhale, legs come to the ground. Or you may choose to have knees knock in to allow the low back to release. And receive. Warming up the core can bring up some feelings of, am I doing this right? I'm not strong enough. Let those thoughts go. And just rest in your ability to show up here today. And on an inhale, we'll bring both knees up again. Same thing this time, we'll bring hands behind the head. And the same idea, we'll extend the right leg and right elbow can come towards the left knee and alternating. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Legs can be up high if you're working with sensitivity in the back, or skip it altogether. If you have some room here, legs can go longer towards the floor. But again, we're really thinking about keeping a nice solid core tension in the mid belly. And inhale at center, exhale, feet come to the floor, release here and receive. allowing that to dissipate through the body, letting go. And we'll now either by doing some rocking to sitting or finding your way by rolling over, we'll eventually land in our tabletop position. And bringing in some cat and cow movements here. So inhale brings us to a cow position with our belly dropping towards the floor, and gaze, not bringing too much tension in the neck, gazing towards the horizon. And exhale, movement initiates from the hips, rounded back, chin to chest. Inhale to cow. You can feel your shoulders drop on your back. And exhale like you have wings in your shoulder blades. Really extending across the shoulders, rounding in the back. A few more times in your own pace here. Just exploring, maybe adding some gentle movements for your neck. Maybe turning this into an organic movement here to warm up the low back. One option is to come into child's pose and then scoot like a snake through your torso, comes through your hands, lifting back up into cow, rolling into cat, hips back to heels for child's pose. Scooting your torso close to the ground as you move back into cow pose. Or you may want to move your hips in some big circles that move you towards one side and then towards child's, and then the other side. You move around in your mat in both directions. Let's all find ourselves back into tabletop position. And here we'll just drop our hips. I'm dropping my hips to the right side to find a nice stretch in that right outer side of the right hip. Letting my neck go here. Inhaling to center, dropping my hips to the left. Big opening, I feel that on the left side hip. A few more times each side. As you land on your right side, notice how much weight goes into your right hand. Can you bring some of that weight back into your left hand to protect your wrists? This can be done on fists if you're having any wrist sensitivity. Great. Back to center here. Let's curl the toes under. Hands are wide apart, index fingers pointing towards the top of the mat. We'll inhale and lift the hips into a deeply bent knee downward dog. Walking feet out wide on your mat. A real nice bend in the hips. Engaging the finger pads on the mat. Really feel this getting into the armpit area with that deep bend in the knees, head releases. And then slowly begin to straighten the legs. Maybe bending the right knee and then the left to walk out your dog. And then sliding forward into plank position. Feet might scoot back on your mat. Holding plank and feeling the low ribs coming towards the top of your pelvis for that nice low core engagement here. Feeling that Knees drop to the floor, coming back into child. Scooting forward through your hands, back into tabletop position. Let's curl the toes under and lift into downward dog. Maybe this time in downward dog, coming up on the toes and then dropping heels to the right. So toes point to the left. Notice if all your weight went into your right arm, shifting your weight back to center. Bending knees here, feeling that nice opening on the left side body. Inhaling to center. Exhaling, knees bend, heels drop to the left, toes point to the right. Shifting the weight back to the right so that you're centered on your arms. Bending the knees, feeling the breath here. Oh, wow. That right side body really needs some moisture, some invitation for movement. Inhaling to center. Exhale, knees come to the ground. And let's scoot however it takes to get that left foot towards the front of the mat between the hands. We're in this knee down lunge position. So with the knee down here, we can safely explore the range of motion in the knee. Usually we're trying to keep the knee over the ankle, but in this position, it's okay if the knee comes forward of the ankle a little bit. And just use your own intuition here. This can be a very tight area for some people, so bringing your right knee in closer with a shorter stance might feel safer in your body. If you have blocks handy, using blocks to give you some more lift can be a nice way to explore. So just noticing here, by even adding these gentle movements, are you feeling a little more mobility in your hips? Opening maybe that right hip flexor here. Let's bring the right hand on fingertips or on fist to the mat, towards the right side of the mat. Left hand comes to the left knee. Finding your lunge here that feels just right. Right hip can descend towards the floor. And if you have the range in your body, opening the left arm towards the sky, feeling that opening across the chest and heart, inviting light-hearted energy from the sun that's there somewhere behind the clouds. Inhaling here, exhale, hands come to the floor. Let's inhale, hands to the knees here, and then hands overhead. Left hand grabs right wrist, side bend to the left. Back it off here just a smidge so that you're not forcing in any part of the shoulder or hip. Allowing, when we back it off even just a little bit, we allow more space for all of the prana and the synovial fluid, all those healing juices and energies to access our connective tissues. Inhaling to center. Exhale, hands come to either side of the right foot. We'll step it back here into plank pose again, finding that nice strong connection between the low ribs and the pelvis. Feeling strength in your arms, maybe rocking back and forth on your toes here. Feel that nice strong foundation. And then knees come to the floor. Right foot will step between the hands. And now exploring these gentle rocking motions, exploring into the left hip flexor. And the invitation here is to go super slowly and gently. You might close your eyes and really listen in to what your body has to say right now in this position. If you have blocks handy, it would be a great place to use them. You might picture even like your pelvis is a hammock between your hip, like both sides of your hips. If you were to swing your pelvis from side to side, that invites a little different movement that we might not be used to in this position. Like rocking back and forth on that knee. Always feel free to pad your knee. I'm on a carpet, so I don't think to invite that, but you can always bring a blanket in or fold your mat over to bring ease in that knee that's on the floor. And then we will bring our left hand towards the left side of the mat. Right hand comes to the right knee. And on an inhale, we'll lift and open, right arm towards the sky, feeling that nest that our shoulder blades make for our heart on our back, allowing our heart to be out in the world, safely supported. Inhale, hands come to the floor. Take a breath here. Walking hands to the right knee. Inhaling, arms overhead. Right hand grabs left wrist. Side bend to the right. Feeling this big opening on the left hip flexor. Backing off here. Backing off can be like this micro movement, right? A micro back off. You've hardly changed your physical posture, but you're inviting so much more space in for all of the healing energy to reach through your body. Deep breaths into the back body. Inhale and exhale, hands coming to the floor. Let's step back into downward dog, shaking it out here, and walking our feet towards our hands. Take a minute here to hang in ragdoll. Arms can cross, feet are spread wide apart, knees are bent, head releases, and just swaying side to side here, ragdoll. Arms release, knees are really bent, just slowly, like a slow race. How slow can you come to standing here? Feeling vertebrae stacking on vertebrae. You near your standing position, feeling your shoulders land on your back. Noticing how it feels to be standing. Take a minute here to really feel that lift in the shoulders, and then shoulder blades like they're sliding into parallel slots on your back. Feel that nestling in. It's not a gripping on your back. It's an up, shoulders come up towards the ears and I slide in to give you that sensation of being awake and alive and present, engaged, without forcing your way through life, but also without collapsing. So finding what that means for you and your body here. Let's inhale, arms lift. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, find your chair pose. Again, engagement in your low belly, finding that neutral position for a safe chair pose. And inhale, arms sweep to the side, grasping behind the back. Inhaling to stand. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms release to stand, standing tall. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to stand. Exhale, hands come to the side. And just notice here. Let's inhale, both hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, left foot steps back. Right foot steps back to meet left, finding yourself in your plank position. And from here, you can move through chaturanga if that's in your practice. We're going to lower knees and taking time here to lower safely. If you know it's safe to do this, we're going to be lowering by bending elbows back towards ribs until we can come flat on the floor in belly down pose. Hands come to the sides of the body, elbows back towards the ribs. Inhale brings our chest to lift into a low cobra. Exhale, toes curl under, reaching back into downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts towards the sky and then steps forward between the hands. Right heel coming down to the mat, right toes pointed at a 45-degree angle. We're going to cartwheel our hands up into a warrior two posture. Left knee over left ankle. Torso right above the hips, trying not to reach too far forward, too far back. Really bringing energy and awareness into this back right leg, feeling the connection of the outside of the back right foot. Palms can turn towards the sky, feeling just by turning palms towards the sky, this opening across the chest. Left hand lifts towards the sky. Exhaling, left forearm to left knee. Right arm either lifts towards the sky or maybe points towards the front of your mat. Feeling that lift and turn in the torso. Inhaling back to warrior two. Exhale, both hands come to the mat, stepping back. And again, moving through your vinyasa. So knees down, elbows bend, chest to the floor, tops of the feet engage, shoulders engage on the back. Inhaling to your back bend. Exhale, toes curl under, lifting into downward dog. Taking full round of breath here. Remembering that 3-part breath, reaching into the side body, back body. On an inhale, right foot will lift towards the sky. Exhale, right foot steps between the hands. Left heel comes to the ground, right toes pointed at a 45-degree angle. Feeling a strong foundation here. Connection in that outer part of the back left foot. Strength in the low belly. Inhaling, cartwheeling our hands into warrior 2 pose. Right knee over right ankle. Torso not too far forward, too far back. Feeling a nice engagement in that back leg. Can you land here now? Maybe close your eyes. Maybe having a soft gaze. Thinking about the energy you're inviting into your whole field of energy. Palms turn towards the sky, inviting your heart into the world. Inhale, right arm lifts, reverse warrior. Exhale, right arm to right thigh, left arm reaches towards the sky or towards the front of your mat. That left shoulder blade really landing on the back here to invite a slight turn, twist towards the sky. Inhale, back to center, warrior 2. Exhale, hands cartwheel towards the floor. Let's step the left foot, step that left foot forward. The forward fold. Really just release here. Arms might cross again, knees bend. Let go. We'll inhale, arms lift, knees are bent to a standing mountain pose. Exhale, hands come through heart position. And then hands release. Notice now, after that series of more vigorous movements, can you settle in here without having a racing mind, a judging mind? Can you find a sense of gratitude for what your body is capable of? A sense of gratitude for showing up today. And then let's just shake it out a little bit here with some breath of joy to bring that lighthearted energy back into our practice after some more vigorous movements. So breath of joy, as a reminder, is a 3-part breath. 3 sips of air. Inhale, you sip. Inhale, 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 and then 1 big exhale. And the arm motions that go with these those sips of inhale is we inhale, arms forward, inhale, arms to the side, inhale, arms forward, and then exhale with a big ha. Now the ha exhale can be a big forward fold and letting it all out, or if you have sensitivity in your low back, it might just be arms coming down to the side. I like to bring a lot of bounce and movement in my knees to help kind of get the energy going. And it's mandatory to have a little smile on your face because it's breath of joy, right? So let's go at your own pace. If you're already going, keep going. We'll inhale, 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 ha. Inhale, 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 ha. 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 Can go as fast or slow as works for your body. If you have any dizziness, you can slow it way down. Ha. Ha. One more. Ha. And then let's shake it out here. Let that movement from the breath of fire kind of work its way through your arms and your legs, through your shoulders, acknowledging all this prana that is here for us in our fields all day long, if we just give it a little time to come forward, right? So now let's come sideways on your mats so that you can stand with legs about what a stance that works in your body that is wider than hip widths apart. And we'll inhale, we'll bring arms overhead, and exhale, we'll twist now, twisting towards the left, and twisting that left hand will come down towards the right, outside of the right foot. And the right arm is extending towards the sky. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, twisting the opposite way. So right hand comes down the outside of the left leg, looking up towards that left arm. Inhaling to center. One more time on each side. Twist. Left hand comes down, right leg. Inhaling center. Twist, right hand comes down, right leg, left leg, looking towards that left hand. Inhaling to center. Exhale, hands come to the hips. Deep bend in the knees, folding forward into forward fold. Let your head go here. And bring some movement, maybe some rocking movement from side to side into some small lunges. Now, left hand will plant in the center of the mat and inhale. The right arm lifts for a nice big twist and opening to the right side. Make sure that all of your weight hasn't shifted into your right foot. Bring some weight back into the left. Make sure your neck isn't straining here. Exhale, right hand releases toward the floor. Inhale, left arm reaches towards the sky. Exhale, left hand release. Inhaling to center. And then exhaling, we'll find our way to a squat pose. So I'm stepping my feet in towards each other. And if you know squat doesn't work for your knees, you can skip this and come to seated on the floor. Back here. So if you're in a squat position, just finding some movement here, again, adding some movement for the hips. And then we will find our way back to our mats. Back down on the floor. And I will lead a twist here, but if you have a twist that you love to do, feel free to do that. We will start by lifting the hips and moving the hips slightly to the left. And then knees will come to the chest. Arms are out. Keep position at the sides. Inhaling. Exhale. Knees are falling to the right for a nice big opening on the left side body. Right hand can come to the outside of the left knee. Gaze over towards the left shoulder, not forcing into the neck here. Just receive. Allow your breath to soften into the pose. Where are you holding on that you could let go? Imagining those droplets of rain, finding the small stones throughout your body, your energy field. Replenishing and nourishing. We'll inhale, slowly moving your knees to center. Feet come to the floor, hips lift and shift to the right. Knees lift towards the chest, arms out to the side, and knees will now drop to the left. Gaze can be towards the right. Left hand can come to the outside of the right thigh. Really feel the belly let go here and soften. Soften in the ankles. Soften in the shoulders, the ribs. Soften in your heart. Your jaw. Your temples. Your brain. Let go. Inhale brings you to center. And then finding your way into a comfortable Shavasana. Legs might be stretched out in front, or you might have a blanket under your knees. Knees can be knocked in towards each other. Maybe legs up the wall. Find your resting posture for a few minutes of rest. Finding some movement now, bringing yourself back into this moment. Maybe bringing some movement into your fingertips. Circling out your toes. No rush at all, but when you're ready, you can find your way to one side, lying on your side, keeping your eyes closed. And then eventually finding your way to sitting. No rush here. Holding on to that deep, peaceful rest in your bones, your muscles, even in your brain. Let these words by Mary Oliver wash over you. Her poem called Mindful. Every day I see or I hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The intrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. So bringing our hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, thumbs touching sternum, reminding us of our light that we hold deep inside. The bright light within me honors the bright light within each of you. Thank you so much for coming today. Namaste. It's such a pleasure to practice with all of you, and anyone who would like to stay for a little breathing and meditation here is welcome to do so. If you have to run, just a reminder that I'm going to take the rest of July off from teaching this class, but I have all of your contact information, so I'll let you know when we get going again. So Donna, welcome. I'm so glad you made it today, and Mary, glad you made it. So for anyone, okay, Mary's gonna run. Bye, Mary. The last time that we practiced our pranayama, we did this really sweet kriya called the Kirtan Kriya, and I'll teach it again today. It's very simple. The Kirtan Kriya, bye Donna, glad you could make it. the Kirtan Kriya is helps to reduce anxiety. Nina and I've been talking about it since we did it last time. It can be it's a pretty simple breath practice that you can do. You know, it's not like a fancy thing around your nose, so you can even do it and be sneaky about it and nobody knows that it's happening. It's great for reducing anxiety, and it's also been being used by the Alzheimer's Foundation because it's been proven to help with memory. So the Kirtan Kriya, hands will remain in our laps for this breath practice, but I'll demonstrate it by holding my hands up. So much like breath of joy, where we took those 3 sips of air in, we're going to take 5 sips of air. So actually 4 sips of air. So we'll do index finger touches thumb is 1, 2, 3, 4 sips of inhale, filling our lungs with inhale. And then the exhale, index finger comes back to thumb. So it sounds like this. If you can, I'll come up close so you can hear me. It sounds like, okay, the exhale is just through the nose, but just so you could hear it. So inhale, 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 exhale. And the mudra, the mantra that we say silently to ourselves during this is breaking down the Sat Nam into its individual syllables. So Sa, Ta, Na, Ma, and then we exhale. So Sat Nam means I am truth. It's a common mantra for so many breath practices. And this is just another way of calling forth that universal mantra of I am truth, and that we all hold the truth within ourselves and wisdom. So don't get hung up on the words or the mantra, but just the idea behind pranayama is that when we take time to do a breath practice before meditation, our meditation can be very sweet and have a very different quality to it. So that we'll do this, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma, and I'll guide it. We'll do this breath practice for 3 minutes, and then we'll sit in meditation for a few minutes. And then I'd love to hear how that went for you when we're finished. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Again, always looking for a nice straight spine. If you need to use props to under your knees, whatever you need to have a very comfortable seated position that allows your lungs to take in all the air they need. Finding your natural breath. And then we'll start with index fingers touching thumbs. Hands can be on your lap. And just begin. Inhale, 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 exhale. At your own pace. You can go very slowly with this. If it's a breath practice you've done before, you can speed it up. The idea is to get about 3/4 full of breath by the time you go to exhale. And the mantra is Sa, Ta, Na, Ma, exhale. If you find that you're getting at all dizzy or frustrated, let it go and just sit. Maybe pick it back up again. You may like to play with letting the exhale really become a pause to sit with the mantra, I am truth. Ta, ta, ma, ma. After your next round, and let go of that breath practice and just sit in meditation for 3 minutes. Just notice. Let any thoughts that pop up float by like clouds in the sky without getting attached. Bring our hands back into prayer position at our heart center. Let your head bow to your heart. Remembering that these pauses, meditation, we're noticing the grass, the rain, the damp. They bring us closer to our true wisdom. And the world desperately needs our wisdom. Namaste once again to you. Thank you so much for practicing.